All right, so yeah, man. Yo, introduce family.
Absolutely. So you got Easy Rose, Brooklyn stand up.
Shout out to Brooklyn. You got Dell, Harlem stand up. West Side is where I reside, but East Side love too.
Nice. Tony Stallion, South Jamaica, Queens. But we all love all in New York.
Facts.
Yo, we gotta get somebody from Staten Island on here.
Yeah.
Just to get all the boroughs.
I think I know one person from Staten Island. That's it.
Yeah.
You know what? We got Colfax in the building, baby.
Colfax. Shout out to Chicago.
From the
I spent
80s.
a couple Thanksgivings in Inglewood, man. I had a good time.
Why?
I went to college in Indiana. Couldn't afford to fly home. I met some real ones back in college that had me in.
There's a lot of levels between college in Indiana and Inglewood.
Yeah, I gravitate people from a similar struggle. You get what I'm saying? So,
well, there's a lot of levels between your struggle and Inglewood.
I wouldn't jump out the window like that, but
Right.
AD in the building too.
AD in the building.
Shout out to Inglewood though. Shout out
What's
to
up, peoples?
AD.
What's going on? Dale, right?
Yeah,
man. It's good to see you. It's been a while.
Yeah, man. It's been a while.
What's been up, bro?
I'm happy I'm here, man. I was just telling them I'm a fan of the show first.
Oh, word?
So,
yeah, man. We're gonna, this season 1, this is like our MVP, right? I'm just a guy who's like now into like product design and advertising, but I'm a big firm believer in just getting something out and see does it work, right? It seemed that we've been getting good response, knowing that going forward. We're going to iterate on the show, and we're going to really push it,
So
let's get into we can get into today's topics. Let's get to the shits.
all right, yeah, let's get into it. Roseanne got canceled.
Fuck them.
Great.
For the record, I never watched that show, so I don't care.
I never watched it either.
Are we surprised?
Well,
I mean, I watched it in the beginning. I watched the like 90s version of it.
So
Did you like
real
it
quick,
back
just
then?
before we jump into that, like this whole episode is like a whole do we care or does the general population care? I think we should care because you gotta look at the climate of where we are and then the fact that the show got brought back the way it did to appease to the audience that voted for Trump. I think that's something that you gotta look at on a huge network, not like some cable network that a couple people have access to. So to me, that's why I think we should.
Here's the thing why I said fuck them immediately.
Yeah.
Was that she was spewing bullshit, DNA info, whatever that shit is called, before she got the situation again. It never ceases to astound me the lack of integrity that greed. The lack of integrity that greedy people seem to always demonstrate.
Yeah.
They will put aside any considerations of moral, ineptitude, I should say, to make money.
Yeah.
So up until she literally called Valerie Jarrett an ape, they were cool with it, and then still had to determine if they wanted the cash cow to go away after she tweeted that. But she had been doing that up until that point.
Like she's known for that.
Through the production of the show. Yeah, and that was what she is. She became basically a troll, reinvented herself as a troll, supporting the deplorables in the world and the idiots that voted for Donald Trump, and became a voice for them. And thus, ABC decided to sign her and bring her show back. And now they got what they deserve.
But which is funny because you said you watched the show in the 90s. I watched it in the 90s.
Yeah, but I was
that
also a
wasn't.
kid.
I never watched it.
I mean, the
I'm
show
from
was
the South. I don't do redneck shows.
I mean, I just want to say for the record, just to play devil's advocate, the show wasn't always about that. The old version wasn't
I like
about
King
that.
of the Hill. That was redneck, but it's fun.
But yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I watched it. They were from Chicago. I'm from Chicago. It was like, okay, and it represented people that I actually grew up around.
Like blue collar people.
Yeah, blue collar white
yeah.
folks, and the border in Indiana is right there on the south side of Chicago.
Gotcha.
So I know those people. You go any direction in anywhere Chicago, you're going to get that.
Yeah.
Right? And that was 90s that. But then she came back with this specific bent, and I didn't see it. I know they adopted like a black kid in that show and all this other stuff, and it was just like, wow,
Shit
really?
got
Like
weird.
ABC? Disney?
Yeah, it's a
Okay.
lot. All right, we could jump
Thumbs
into
up for
it.
you.
So I mean,
It just shows you like Roseanne's show coming back. It speaks to a broader topic about how a lot of shows overall, such as I think they've been contemplating bringing back Friends. They brought back
Yeah.
Keep
Will
it all
and
away.
Grace.
we could talk about that. How do you feel about that?
Well,
like,
I mean,
reviving. Basically, sorry to cut you off. I was just gonna say, reviving old shows and
well, it just
basically
speaks to a
bringing it
broader
back.
privilege that a lot of us don't necessarily have, right? And at the end of the day, it's kind of like who's ever greenlighting shows at these network. If they kind of grew up looking at those shows and they have like a certain affinity for it,
Yeah.
then more than likely they're gonna bring those shows back. And I
because they
think
brought back Will and Grace.
yeah, they brought it back, and I made a huge campaign for that show all over the place. I know in New York, we can't speak from anywhere else, but I mean, look, if we think about like bringing back shows that we like that live
Wayne's
in singles of
Brothers.
the world. Oh, the Wayne's Brothers,
They
right?
never ended that.
Oh, Martin was a great show, but
Keep Martin gone though.
Yeah,
I don't
I
want to
agree.
see
you
that.
didn't like Martin?
No,
I love
How
Martin.
about
Let's keep it
how
away.
about
But keep
how
it
about
away.
Just
we
don't mess
how about
with it.
Yeah,
we
don't
let
mess
these new creators and
Exactly.
content
Make new
builders
shows.
I
make
agree.
new shows.
I agree.
Well, yeah, but check it. What about like? Well, there's a new Shaft out, right? And I think that movie's garbage, but I can't say that because I haven't seen it.
Talking about the one with Samuel Jackson?
No, no,
That shit was
it's a
fire.
brand new.
Peoples was
No,
my
no,
nigga.
it's a brand new Shaft.
Yeah,
he
he's
got a
coming
do
back.
rag, and he's a millennial.
His brother hair is
You haven't
So
seen
wait,
that?
Superfly is coming back
Oh,
and
Superfly.
Shaft
Oh,
is coming back?
Superfly.
It's
Yeah.
Okay, so you meant Superfly.
I meant to say
No,
Superfly.
Shaft is
Okay.
coming back too.
But
though.
Shaft is coming
Oh
back
my
too.
God.
From my understanding.
This
It's
cat
Samuel
here is
L.
fried,
Robert
dyed,
Roundtree,
and laid
and
to
then
the
one younger
side.
dude, and the three of them are
So-
all together.
Yo, real
again,
quick, we got another
Sorry.
dude.
Oh, before we get to that,
Oh, yeah.
let me just finish this
Yeah.
point out, right? So it just speaks to a broader overall issue is that, one, if you want our shows to kind of be revived, then we need to have like positions of power. But more so than that, I just think we're in an age that people are lacking ideas. I mean, Hollywood, everybody's following Hollywood is just redoing old stuff.
I disagree with you.
I mean, okay, when I say lacking ideas, there are a lot of great people who's producing good stuff. But I'm talking about this mainstream stuff. It's lacking ideas.
I think the gatekeepers don't want to let the young people with the great ideas.
But we're saying the same thing.
Okay, yeah.
We're saying the exact same thing.
And I think in addition to that, I think it's how people are consuming television, right? Because like a lot of young people are cutting cords, they have the Apple TV, they have the Fire Stick. So for companies like ABC, right, and it's like they're still trying to hold on to that traditional television.
Right.
It's like they're trying to grow with their audience. So if some of these people now, if Roseanne was 20 years ago, if you was 25, like what you're 45 now, almost 50. Right. So are you cutting cords? Probably not. So like that, in addition to everything that everyone stated, like I think that's another thing too. True. We're trying to grow with that audience. Those people, they aren't cutting cords. They're still watching television.
Right.
I mean, they have the metrics and the data to show that people that are 50, 25 to 54
Want to watch it.
want to watch
Yeah.
it. So,
Yeah, and I'm just kind of like, fuck them. As one who is a
I
proud
agree.
Gen Xer, and born into the 70s and being of that age generation, you move forward. I've cut cords. I have, I believe I find content wherever it is and the best in quality content. Those are lazy people. Those people that are just still living in 1989, 1996. Fuck them. They're lazy.
Yeah.
Like let them fall off or whatever. It's the same way that this past election should have really been a referendum on a new generation, but yet we still have one more last gasp of like an older generation holding on with its clutching its dead grasp of the past. We need to now push forward in every other sense, in every other capacity that we can. So that's content, that's creativity, that's politics, that's everything. You know what I'm saying? And that's the way I feel about it.
And just to wrap up the point that AD made, I think is what you said. Like, we need to be in these positions where we can make the decision and be like, yo, we want to green light this or we want to green light that.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I'm a creative, and I know that I can't just remain an art director. I have to move up just to bring more more people that look like me into these positions, right? So, yeah, it's either do that at these corporations or start your own.
Yeah.
Which is, that's why we're doing this
I
podcast.
respect that. Yo, so someone mentioned it like 2 seconds ago. We got another creative brother in here. I don't know if you want to introduce yourself.
Directly into it. Good afternoon. My name is Mo.
Do you want to use your real name or?
That's an alias anyway. So,
That's
that's
my
an alias.
Yeah. Like, niggas don't know anyway.
I rarely use my government, but listen to everything you all are saying. Like, I firmly agree. I mean, I think like if we based on what the mind is, right? Like everyone's talking about oh, like just bring back like this America that never existed, right? And it's seeped into like the actual like art in a sense, right? Like the television. Like Roseanne is like, in my opinion, one of those shows that kind of like represent like that mindset, like bring us back. Like we need to be in the forefront. Like the Roseanne show in itself was like, it was all about like the blue collar world, right? Like these white people that needed to be like seen, like they have their issues, and you know everybody have their issues. Everybody need to be seen, right? Except for those who are like blatantly like racist, right? But like I think with the current climate of our political climate is like, well, do we curse on here? Yeah, oh, okay.
Yeah, we do.
Absolutely.
Always gotta ask, right? Like they're like, well, they're like, fuck tact, like fuck being couth. Like we want to bring back what we represent.
It's at the forefront. They don't care.
Yeah.
But nah, somebody said something that I do want to ask. It's 2018. Do we need another Superfly?
No, not for me.
No.
I think we should just create something else.
Yeah.
I agree, and I had a huge rant on Twitter about like why I always hate remakes because they're like remaking the movies no one asking for. Like I don't know anyone saying like, yo, we need Superfly like back. Like there's a campaign like bring Superfly back, but then I realized that it's not the actual Superfly like from the Curtis Mayfield. It's like it's based off like I'm Superfly, like the kids, I'm Flea. Right. They use that line, so that's what the name of the movie is all about. And I'll say, well, that's even more lamer because it's like
and lazy.
And lazy. It's like you took like it's a BET movie. In all honesty, that they're pushing to like the mainstream, which is like. Sure. It's complicated, like, but people are gonna go see it though. Like, there's gonna be a line in Court Street around the corner to see Superfly.
And so now we're making a transition from Black Panther to Superfly.
Well, I will say this. I don't want to, and you're going to hear me probably do this a lot, because I'm a huge believer in the spectrum. Like, I live by the spectrum. I was the nigga 10 years ago that was like, this Tyler Perry coonery, buffoonery, nonsense, like, whatever. And it's still not for me, but having met a lot of people from different walks of life and all this kind of stuff.
Somebody relates to it. Basically.
Someone relates to it. And it doesn't mean everything's okay, right? When I watch TBS and the little black man is dancing on top of the logo, the Browns nigga, meet the Browns nigga, whatever, like, that's just too far for me, right? But there are certain things, to your point about like Panther to Superfly, where one speaks to me and the other one doesn't, but Superfly does speak to somebody, you know what I'm saying?
Here's my position. And I said it in the last podcast. We're in a moment now of black excellence, and we cannot go back.
Right, but you can't define excellence. You can't be elitist and tell
But you know it when you see it. You know it when you see it.
You know what it is. We're all college educated in this room.
No, I'm not saying it has nothing to do with education.
So
but you got to turn the fact though at some point.
Right, and I'm saying the boy from. Go ahead. I want
to. From my side, it has to do with imagination over education, really, and creativity, and the resources to share that imaginative spirit and creativity. That's represented in Insecure, coming from Awkward Black Girl. Yep. That's represented in Ryan Coogler and Black Panther. That's represented in so much in Atlanta. You know, it's represented in a moment of black excellence. So I'm going to reserve judgment on Superfly. It could be black excellence just under the auspice of what we all bring to it because of the name. If they named it something else, we would completely be looking at it from an open perspective. I believe we're at a point of black excellence, and if these people like Superfly, if you get the opportunity to make a feature film, I think that now, just like any other sport, you're looking at the cohort of those to whom you're in now that sport with being content creation and saying shit, like it's like hip hop. It's like when Biggie went back to the drawing board with Ready to Die when he heard The Chronic. Mm-hmm. So I feel like people are seeing Black Panther and seeing Insecure and seeing Atlanta and all these other great moments. This Is America. All these little moments of like black excellence, and they're saying, you know what, shit, I got this opportunity. I got to step up. So I think Superfly could be that.
It could be.
I agree.
Yeah. And I only said that just with regards to the naming of it. Like I don't know what the product is. Like,
and I'll tell you, I'm not gonna go see the movie. I have no interest in the movie.
No, I'll actually watch it and we'll critique it.
Because to your point, to Colfax's point, even if you knew you were doing a pimp movie, even if you knew X, Y, and Z, when you see what your contemporaries are doing, step out the box and say, let me not name it after a movie from 40 years ago. Let me at least try to put some. It could have been the fucking, what do they call Black Panther? Afro future, like the Janelle Monáe. Yeah, like this could have been that, and you could have been dipping your toe into that, but to call it something from the 70s is just like...
Yeah, but Black Panther dropped the mic so much on that.
Oh,
like,
it did.
Who's going to come and now son Black Panther with Afrofuturism? You know what I'm saying? So
that's true.
As such, I think that now we have to get to... Because everything can't be what was Black Panther's budget? $300 million or something crazy like that?
Marvel.
Yeah, everything can't be that. So what happens when you now get that $25 million budget?
What are you going to do with it?
You obviously are shooting in Atlanta. And, you're shooting in Atlanta, you're shooting at cost and things like that. And, you're going other places, but you still have that writing that has to be, that script still has to be incredible. And,
right.
And that's what I'm hoping is what Superfly actually is.
Yeah. I agree.
I totally agree. I think there is a level of excellence in
music.
I've
seen the preview. It's going to be trash.
Oh, you actually saw it?
I believe it.
It's a BET movie, like with a huge. I didn't see the movie. I saw the trailer and multiple times, and I'm like, how they have like the different alternative trailers, but it's like, when you've been home like a Friday night, you're getting ready, you got the TV on and you're on BET and they showing this movie, like you're like, what?
Or if you type in African American on Netflix, it's like 50 of them shits that come up. All them shits come up.
Oh, man.
All
like
stars.
Yeah, all stars, yeah.
I'm gonna still believe.
I watched Pootie Tang last weekend, so I'm not like you.
Right,
Know what I'm
I feel you. And I wasn't accusing anybody of being elitist. I just like to check ourselves because I have to do it myself too. Sometimes
I respect that.
I might not agree with the movie about a pimp in 2018,
but make it of high
quality.
Right. Yeah.
Make it thoughtful, depthful.
Like 12 Years a Slave, mad black people are like, oh, I'm tired of slave. But you can't watch the movie and then say, this wasn't an incredibly done
Underground.
movie. If you don't want to watch it, Underground too.
Underground as a show.
Incredible.
Yeah, it was an incredible show. Yep. It should still get picked up.
Layered characters, yeah.
Once again, Black Panther, post Black Panther, does Underground get a look? Because now everybody's like, yo, I want more Wakanda. I don't want to look back at what we went through.
I agree.
And that's something that we can never. We should be like how Germany is teaching the Holocaust or anti-Holocaust. Every year you go through a public school in Germany, you have to learn that the Holocaust was the worst thing that ever happened.
Exactly.
And you will never do it again.
That's how I feel. I hate when niggas be like, oh, there's too much I'm like, nigga, there was actual slaves who couldn't have, quote unquote, too much slavery. Who the fuck you to complain that you're tired of watching it for 2 hours?
Right.
Yo,
I never understood that mentality.
I think we've had conversations like that, and I always talk about like celebrate your struggle.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
I thought it was a choice.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's get to the shits.
I got one more question.
Go to that.
Talking about Underground and who should pick it up, we threw out OWN, we threw out Netflix, whatever. So Deborah Lee is now announced she's resigning or retiring from BET.
Thank God.
I actually, when I heard that, got like a jolt of energy up my back.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit, should I apply to BET now? And finally, is our national nightmare finally over?
Right.
And as such, between her and what's his name,
Stephen Hill, who's gone.
Stephen Hill's gone. Is there now an opportunity? Obviously, the name withstanding black entertainment television, as archaic as it is, but is there now an opportunity to use that platform for what we've wanted it to be since 1980, in actuality, to create quality content, taking on things like Underground, taking on other opportunities that may not get an opportunity on FX or other quality networks and platforms? Is there an opportunity now with that, or is it just going to be the same old, all under the auspice of Viacom, and BET just continues to just be this channel that no one I know watches?
I just think it has to be something different than BET. And at the end of the day, BET is owned by Viacom, and they're going to have their agenda. I think now, I don't know if the Diddy's of the world with Revolt, or if there is a new network. Maybe it's Pepper.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Can we speak a little bit?
Maybe,
I mean,
maybe it's something you're doing with what you're doing, Colfax. But at the end of the day, I think if we're still looking towards the old oligarch to deliver something different, while they may have new players, it's still gonna be the same playbook.
Yo, I've seen Baby Boy way too many times. I don't need to see it.
Dale, you about to say something?
Yeah, I was going to ask a question. And I agree with you that there definitely are agendas, 100%. But one thing I realized, too, is like people love Atlanta, as do I. Atlanta comes on FX. FX is owned by Fox.
Yeah.
So when people, like, at the end of the day, even the shit we think is so groundbreaking and really speaking, they got a crazy, not that they have an agenda, but you could make the argument that someone's pushing their agenda through that as well. So I say that not to go against what you're saying, but to say to Koufax's point, I would love Netflix, I would love Revolt, but I'm open to seeing if BET, regardless of who they're owned by, is willing to sort of like rejigger who they are and really come, because some people don't like the black part. I like
they gotta take
fucking
chances.
channel called Black something.
I like that
fired.
too. I just don't expect them to do that.
They can't be scared though.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. No soft talk.
I mean, let's be real. No soft talk, right?
No
Let's be
soft
real,
talk.
right? Could a Issa Rae show be on BET?
Right.
Could Donald Glover's Atlanta be on BET?
Right.
I mean, Little Brother was banned from BET. The rap group.
How?
The video wasn't ignorant enough. One of their videos, Don't Stop, was actually banned from BET.
That's crazy.
But they let Tip Drill play.
Yeah, of course, right?
Yeesh.
So, I mean, banned in
I
the
fuck
sense
with Tip
that,
Drill.
you know,
Uncut.
Shout out to Tim.
well, yeah, I mean, yeah,
Caught some
I
good
watched
dubs
that.
off.